Jai That's the issue. Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be. Yeah, gotta go.
How is this gonna work? Huh? So how is that any different? Now it's just one spot. I don't know.
Let's start this on Prabhuji 15.
started, it says it doesn't allow. I don't know why. Because we started it like this, so.
Vivo. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to ISKCON Charlotte, the program, Hare Dandava Pranam. This is Chaitanya Charan prabhu, and we're gonna have a podcast type lecture here. So I just want to introduce him real quick. He's been a spiritual teacher for more than 25 years, and he's written over 27 books. He's the author of the only
Yeah, you can do it.
daily blog of Bhagavad Gita, and he's written more than 4,000 articles. And he's been invited to speak at like many places like TED Talks, World Peace conferences, UNESCO, Intel, Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, Stanford, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, MIT, and Cambridge. And he has more than 400 talks across 100 cities in 4 continents every year.
Too much.
Please, let's all welcome Chaitanya, Charan, prabhu. Haribo.
Haribo.
Can you get the next?
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। And you Lord, please guide us on. We can understand the path to come to you and come in peace that is sustainable for us. Hare Krishna. So Nimai just came to know that he has to do the podcast 5 minutes ago. So whether it is courageous or reckless from his side, we'll find out. So broadly, the way I think we do this is, you can ask a few questions, and then at any time in between, if you have any questions related to those questions, you can ask in between. So after 3-4 questions, you can open for others also to ask questions. And then towards the end, you will have time for special question answers also. So the idea is we wanted to make this a little bit more interactive, and I've been told that my classes are very intellectually demanding. So I thought that I'll put the demand on someone else now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The first question I want to start with is, why did some people give up on practicing Krishna consciousness?
Right into the...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Generally, whenever anyone takes the spiritual path, it is like swimming upstream. So, it is quite easy for a person to go downstream. So, broadly, when Srila Prabhupada was asked this question, he would answer in different ways. Because we are trying out the fire, the stand is also trying out. So, Srila Prabhupada would often say that, don't be surprised at whom you use. these are private states. Because it is challenging at one level that the whole purpose or the whole current of the material world is toward materialism. And when somebody tries to practice spirituality, going upstream is tough. Now, having said that, broadly, there are two schools of thought. I'm not a Janulam bit. So, the two schools of thought, as we know, is the political right and then the political left. So, now, for any problem that is there, the right and the left often have different explanations. So generally, the right is concerned, there are many different ways to understand this. So the right is concerned with what is right in the existing system. And the left is concerned about those who are left out by the existing system. That's one way to understand it. So the right in general are conservatives. Those who are on the right, they say, society is functioning well, and if you have a problem, then it is your problem. You are not able to fit in. That you have to adjust to fit into the system. So generally the right are conservative. And the left are liberal. Liberals say that, no, so many people are being left out, and they are so badly left out. So the problem is that we have to change the system. And then we can overthrow the system. So destroy the system and then create something new. So left in general, liberal to the point of being quite radical or revolutionary also. That's why if you see nowadays there are a lot of emphasis on social change, social justice. That's the left side. So the same approach can apply to this particular question and answer also. Why do people leave Krishna consciousness? Now, in general, most religious spiritual organizations are conservative. They are on the right side. So here it is like whenever there is a problem, the individual is responsible. So, and when we started, although the people who came to us in the first generation were often very liberal leaning, but they came to the other extreme and joined a very rigid organization, lots of rules, and it was some adventure in following the rules also. So, Prabhu Swarup writes in one of the articles that whenever anybody would leave Krishna consciousness, what is the word we had for somebody leaving Krishna consciousness? Fall down, but it's a word from B. Yeah? Bloop. You have heard the word bloop? No. Okay, bloop is like somebody drops into the ocean and disappears. So like that. So what would happen is, in the past, everybody would be mostly becoming a devotee meant moving into the temple. When anybody would get married also, they would live in the temple only. So when anybody would leave Krishna consciousness, they would leave the temple. So what would happen after that? There would be a collective fault-finding session. Everybody would come together. It's not this person. This is sleeper like Japa. I used to steal Mahaprasad and eat for himself. He used to do a lot of prajna to offend devotees. He was always getting lazy about doing services. So everybody would come and find fault with the devotee and say that devotee fell away because he is the problem or she is the problem. So it was a very rightist way of looking at things. We are perfect. Everything about us is perfect. If people are leaving, it is because they are the problem. And that kind of explanation is very self-righteous. One sign of maturity is the capacity to tolerate self-criticism. People who are immature, they cannot tolerate being criticized. So like that, the idea that there is something wrong with us because of which people may be leaving, that was very intolerable initially. But over the years, things have changed. During 1977 to 87, almost 90% of Srila Prabhupada's disciples left Krishna consciousness. All because they left ISKCON. They said new Krishna consciousness. It was a devastating period. There are a lot of reasons. One of them was that they were just very attracted to Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada was no longer there, they just felt no inspiration to continue. But there were other reasons also. So that's when, one of the reasons was that we were focused initially very much only on preaching. Preaching is get outsiders to become insiders. But there was no focus on further training, education, nourishing the devotees. So that whole idea of devotee care, that was not very much there. It was the idea you practice Krishna consciousness, everybody can take care of it. Then various kinds of devotee care systems came. At one basic level, we started having education for devotees. That means we started having Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav kind of courses, which would nourish people after they come also. Now, not everybody can be satisfied with the same class or same level of you're not the body or the soul, you have sense edification. Every single class, the same thing. We need to go deeper, we need to address deeper issues. So broadly, you could say that there are insiders and there are outsiders. Now, every tradition has some name for the outsiders. We may say devotees, non-devotees. In the broader tradition, we say outsiders are Mikshas, Yavanas. The Christians may use the word pagans. Muslims may use the word kafirs. So everybody has some uncomplimentary reference for the outsiders. So, but we just use a neutral term, outsiders. So what happened was, now if you consider the outsiders, so traditionally it was only preaching. Preaching is for the purpose of getting outsiders to become insiders. But then we have insiders. Among insiders also, there could be teachers and there could be students. Among outsiders also, there could be students and there could be teachers. There are outsiders also expert in many fields. So initially, you could say from 1960, when was our movement founded?
1966.
66. So 66 to around maybe 87, 88, we had only preaching going on. There was not much focus on what we can call as education. Now, preaching is also a form of education, but preaching is more for getting people to start practicing. So Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, these are systematic educational courses which actually address the needs of devotees. So one is more like an intellectual, philosophical need which addresses practical needs. Then another is that, okay, how do we take care of devotees at an emotional level, at a social level? So various devotee care systems are coming. So now devotees want to get married. How will they get married? Can we have some kind of marriage board or some kind of arrangement for that? If devotees become old, they fall sick, is there some system to take care of? So the whole system of devotee care is where, what are we doing? They say, if there's something wrong with the system, the system needs to be fixed. So, for our own devotees' children, that in the first generation, not many people, many of the devotee children became devotees, for many reasons. Now, we are putting a lot of energy taking care of getting new people to become devotees. But how much energy are we putting for ensuring that our own children practice bhakti? What are we doing for that? So basically, cultivating systems of devotee care is the way where we make sure that devotees' needs are also addressed. So rather than putting the blame on the devotee only, because you are insincere, so you left bhakti. No, maybe it is that there were certain needs, and those needs were not taken care of. And those needs were not taken care of, people feel undernourished, people feel uncared, and they leave. So broadly, you could have, as I said, you can have the leftist explanation. The individual is the problem, the society is the problem, the system is the problem. Now, in each case, what is the issue? Why do people leave bhakti? They have to find out what is the issue. So sometimes it is just, we cannot force people. And somebody may just find that this is too difficult, I'm not interested in this is not what I want. Everybody has freedom. So sometimes they will just leave. But sometimes it could be that it may be something who is very lonely, very hurt by the way somebody dealt with them. And now it's possible that we may be hurt. And we cannot really control every single devotee's behavior and nobody will hurt anyone. That's not possible. But can we have a system that if some devotees are hurt, they have somebody to talk with. They have some system by which their hurts and their concerns and fears can be, their issues can be addressed. So all that is very important. So I would say that broadly, why somebody leaves Krishna consciousness, that has to be investigated on a case-to-case basis. And each one of us based on our particular orientation. So whether we are a little bit more on the right or on the left. So we will gravitate toward that particular explanation. So if we are not towards the right, that devotee is not sincere. That's why it is that. They are left, maybe somebody hurt them, maybe somebody didn't care for their needs. Maybe somebody just was too exploitative. What is that? One of my godbrothers, he said, when people come new, we feed them fried pakoras. When they become devotees, we fry them like pakoras. We ask so many services, we do this and do that and do that and do that. People just feel overwhelmed. So that's why the broad topic I think we discussed today is the sustainable bhakti. We are talking about sustainable environment, sustainable development. So sustainable bhakti. How can we arrange for devotees so that we can practice bhakti in a sustainable way? So that's a broad answer.
But so like when someone finds like a particular standard difficult to practice, that's what they do.
So now there are two visions of Krishna consciousness. One is digital and the other is analog. What does digital and analog means? That digital is basically 1 0. Either you have to practice the whole package or you are in Maya. This is digital is, you have to do this. This is 1, you are a devotee. 0, you are a non-devotee. You are in Maya. Now, this is the vision of Krishna consciousness where there are so many things. For example, if I was in one place in India, there was one devotee one person got introduced to Krishna consciousness through my website, asked a question, answer, and tell them to go to a local place, local nearby temple. And then I had done a retreat in the Eco Village, so he came for that retreat. And he was telling me that, I asked him, did you go to the local place? He said, yes, it's very complicated. He said, there are two groups of devotees there. And both are congregation devotees. So one of them, they meet on Saturday, Sunday, they have Mangal Aarti at 4:30. Other group has Mangal Aarti at 5 o'clock. And the first group says, Prabhupada said Mangal Aarti means 4:30. If you are doing Mangal Aarti at 5 o'clock, you are deviating from Prabhupada. It is not Mangal Aarti, it is Amangal Aarti. So now, there could be many reasons why somebody would do something like that. After all, the fact that they are doing Mangal Aarti itself is Mangal. It's auspicious. But what happens? Everybody, based on their inspiration, may decide that this is an extremely important thing. If you don't wear tilak, what kind of devotee are you? So, if you're not wearing kanti mala that is visible for everyone, you're not a serious devotee. And it says, oh, it's not a serious devotee, not a devotee. It's a big difference, but what happens is, there are different standards in Krishna consciousness. And the analog conception means it's not 1 0. From here, there are many steps upwards. And devotees can set themselves at different steps. And they can continue the practice of bhakti. So, in general, we need understanding guidance. So that, okay, if somebody is not able to follow something, then what is the issue? Is it that their life is too complex? Or like their life is, they have a lot of obligations, a lot of work pressure, a lot of family pressure because they're not able to do it. With the family condition not possible. Maybe they come from a particular condition because of which they can't follow certain things. Okay, then if you can't do that, then what can you do? So if we see the discussion between Narad Muni and Dhruv Maharaj. So what is the discussion? It's basically a negotiation. Isn't it? Normally we think of the Guru gives instruction, the disciple follows. And Narad Muni is the Guru of the greatest people in the universe. And Dhruva is just a 5-year-old boy. But when Narada says, this is a small thing, a quarrel at home, just go back home, why have you left your home? He said, your words are true, but they do not work for you. So please give me some instruction that works for you. So we need to, so then he said, okay, you want to do that, you do this, you do it. So the idea is we should have devotee guidance by which, if we cannot follow a particular thing, what can we follow? And how can that be facilitated? You see, during Srila Prabhupada's time also, Srila Prabhupada had full-time disciples who were very dedicated to give their life to Srila Prabhupada. And there were also life holders. And the life members did a lot for Prabhupada. Not all of them did a lot, but like that, not all the Prabhupada disciples did a lot for Prabhupada. So it is different. They are not Prabhupada. They saw, even when Prabhupada came back from America to India, he said that he brought Western people and people became attracted to him because of that. But even their attraction was more of a cultural, nationalistic attraction than a spiritual attraction. You know, this Swami is so great that we are Indians and he has made Westerners follow Indian culture. So before Prabhupada also, many people had gone. Many gurus had gone to the West, and they also had attracted following. But what was unique about Prabhupada was, Prabhupada emphasized not just the philosophical side, but also the cultural side. The previous gurus, when they had got followers, they had not got their followers, Western followers, to be a dhoti kurta and saris. So that's what caught the Indian imagination. And then, because the attraction was cultural nationalistic, they said, oh, this Swami is so great, he has made people follow our culture. So, they became attracted to Prabhupada, but they were not so spiritually attracted as to become spiritually committed. So Prabhupada doesn't have many Indian disciples who were introduced to him in India and became initiated in India. So our movement really took off in India in 1980, around mid-1980, 85, 87, 88, it started off. Now it's very beginning. But the point I'm making is, Prabhupada accepted people who were not ready to be committed. So here, with his disciples, he would give instruction. But with life members, he would basically give encouragement and engagement. He would engage them, we want to build this temple, can you offer some support? Can you help us get some permissions? Can you give us some contacts for this, that? So Prabhupada engaged them. So that's the point, if somebody cannot follow a particular standard, then they need some guidance by which, okay, what can you follow? And how can you stay connected with Krishna?
But like when we're following that, it's hard to like always follow. Like sometimes even when you like try to follow it, it's like it's like you feel inadequate, or like it's hard to do, and like we'll feel like guilt. Is that like should we like have that?
Okay, so is guilt, if we are not able to follow a particular standard and we feel guilty, is that good or is that bad? Again, you got to go from the rightist perspective and leftist perspective. From the right perspective, yes, that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of insufficiency will make us more dependent on Krishna, will make us call for Krishna. And by calling for Krishna, we will be able to make up for that and we will grow. And that's definitely true to that. At the same time, is that what happens to individuals? You have to see. Sometimes, we often think of ego. The opposite of ego is humility. So we have this dual understanding, as ego and humility. However, the reality is often threefold. There is ego, and the opposite of that is insecurity. Ego is, I can do everything. Insecurity is, I can do nothing. Ego is basically, I can do everything, I am God. That is Maya. Insecurity is, I can do nothing, I am nothing. That is Shunyavadi. So Prabhupada came to free us from Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshasara. So now, in between ego and insecurity is humility. Humility is, I am something, Mamayam Shojivadu. I am something and I can do something. So our feeling of inadequacy, I'm not up to that standard, that should not lead us to insecurity. It should lead to humility. So it's important to see what is happening psychologically for a person. If a person starts feeling constantly insecure, oh, I am worthless, I am just such a terrible person. And that is not psychologically healthy. That can be quite damaging for a person in all walks of life. Prahlad Maharaj starts his prayers to Narasimha by talking about how, I'm not qualified. He says that all these devatas, they have Vachasam Pravahi, they have spoken nectarian words in your glorification. And he said, Aham Ugrajate, I am no more. But then he says, my dear Lord, you are satisfied by devotion. Bhaktya Pitosha Bhagavan. You are satisfied by bhakti. And therefore he says, Tasmat aham vigata viklava ishwarasya. Therefore, he says, Prabhupada in the word to word translation says, vigata viklava ishwarasya. He says, therefore, I will give up all thoughts about my unfitness. I will give up all thoughts about my unfitness. And he says that, although I am low-born, but still, my Lord, you are so merciful that you are pleased with whatever devotion I can offer you. So with that devotion, I will try to please you. So, we need to be Krishna conscious. We should not become inadequacy conscious. Oh, I cannot do this, I'm so fallen, I'm so this, I'm so that. If that becomes our permanent consciousness, then that is not psychologically healthy. So, have any of you heard this sentence? Now, I am a fallen soul. Now, we say it, but often when we see it, what happens is, this fallen becomes so big that the soul is forgotten. From I am a fallen soul, it becomes I am fallen. So, what happens when I am fallen? Now, if you consider sarvopadhi vinirmuktam, that we need to become free from all designations. So, I am a middle-aged man, you are a young adult, there are males, there are females, most of us are Indians, some of you South Indians. Now, all these we know are temporary designations. So just as we should not identify too much with those temporary designations, similarly, for the soul, fallen is also temporary designation. And our identification with the fallen part should not become so much that we forget the soul part. That's why our focus should be always on being Krishna conscious, not on being guilt conscious or inadequacy conscious. So yes, I may not be able to do this, but still Krishna is in my heart, Krishna will never abandon me, Krishna cares for me, and therefore I will continue practicing.
So, are you saying it's like inadequacy and humility? Like, Chaitanya always tells us to be like inadequate and especially from the side. What is the difference? Like, if you're feeling inadequate, is that the same thing as being like being humility?
The inadequate, Om Purna Madaha Purnamidam. So everything comes from the complete is complete. So in one sense, we all are complete. We are complete for the purpose for which Krishna has made us, or the purpose which Krishna wants us to do. So Arjuna does not feel insecure that I don't have physical strength like Bhima. And Bhima does not feel inadequate that I am not as good an archer as Arjuna. And Yudhishthira doesn't feel, I am really big Kshatriya, but both my brothers are better than me and what is. We all have different parts. And we are meant to play our part to the fullest capacity. So, humility, as I said, it means that I am a part and I will play my part. Inadequacy means to think that, I cannot play this part, I cannot play that part. That's okay. But what is the part I can play? Am I playing that part? So, when we are too fixated on all the parts that we cannot play, then that will fill us with inadequacy. And so can inadequacy cultivate humility? Possibly. But inadequacy should not be the center of our consciousness. The center is, I want to serve Krishna, and whatever part I can play, I will play wholeheartedly. I will play confidently.
So how is that?
Does anyone have any questions at this point? Yeah. Any of you have?
Does anybody else have a question here?
Please, whatever we have discussed till now.
So, Prabhuji, this is a huge topic, right? Everything, practically we have to detailedly understand, right? So that we act appropriately, and it's like, thank you for, bringing up this topic. When we be somewhere, we know what are the different things that we have to understand from both sides, right? So, Prabhuji, my question, say, in terms of encouragement and engagement outside us, how do we balance that? say, are we going with the right motive or not? Like, so that's my question. So how do we understand that encouragement and engagement when we do outsiders? Why they can't become insiders? That people might question us, ask us. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so why can't they become insiders? Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidati siddhai. So, few people actually endeavor for spirituality, and even among them, few people may actually come to bhakti, spirituality. Even now, there's quite a spiritual resurgence across the world. But a lot of more people are attracted to, say, yoga and Buddhism, even I'm talking about in the West. They're not so much attracted to personal spirituality. And this is not just a characteristic of Kali Yuga. Krishna spoke this before Kali Yuga started also. So it is something which is to be expected. Now, what is the reason? Well, everybody is at a different place in their spiritual journey. This spiritual journey is a multi-lifetime process. And some people may be more spiritually evolved from a previous life than others. And even in this life, everybody goes through different experiences. And it's not just the talks that we speak or the presentation of Krishna consciousness that we make that attracts people. That's an important part, and we have to make best presentation. But it is also whatever experiences they have gone through in their life at that particular time. That's what makes them click. Yeah, this makes sense. So basically, we consider here, the world is in front of us, and God is above us. So now, why do people turn away from the world and towards God? Most people will be caught in the world. No, I want to succeed. And it's not a wrong thing, because we have to survive in the world. And survival also is difficult. It requires a lot of effort. So most people will focus on the world. Now generally, there are two reasons why somebody turns towards God. One is, I am not good enough for the world. That means I have some problems and I am not able to solve them myself. Or I have some desires to fulfill and I just can't fulfill my desires. When I was in Pune, our temple, it was right next to a school. And we found that April, May is the month of devotion for the students. What would happen at that time? Exam. So, I didn't study of God, but please pass me this exam. So, I was somewhere in Texas, not in Texas, I was somewhere in America last year, and I saw an ad of an insurance company. They said, if you are not insured with us, it's time to say your prayers. So the idea is that whatever material arrangements I have, if they are not good enough, then I feel the need for it. So this is, you could call it karma kanda, but this is one way people turn towards God. I am not good enough for the world. The other is, the world is not good enough for me. Now this is not in an egoistic sense. It is that whatever the world offers is not really fulfilling. It's not really satisfying. And therefore I want something good. So this is the broad way to understand category in 7.16. So Artho, Jigyasu, Artharthi, they fall in the first category. I am not good enough for the world. Jigyasu can be either way, but the Jnani falls in the other category. That the world is not good enough. So now, broadly speaking, people don't turn to spirituality unless they are falling in one of these two categories. And those who fall in this first category are not good enough for the world. They are quite a few. In the past, it was physical inadequacy. And life was much tougher. I'm not talking about Satyuga past. I'm talking about recent historical past. Life was tougher. People had to struggle for even survival to some extent. That's why we have in Christianity the prayer, "Oh Father, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Give us our daily bread." Now, in today's world, especially in the Western world, most people are not worried about bread. They're worried about butter, but not bread. So that prayer does not have much relevance to it. But now a lot of people feel psychologically less. Mind is too wide, they have insecurity, they have fear, they have inferiority complex. So a lot of people turn towards God, not so much for relief for their physical needs, but for relief for their mental needs. So that's how basically when somebody from outsider wants to become insider, it has to be not just our presentation, which is important, but it is also their need has to be felt. They are going through something in their life by which the doors of their consciousness not only open to hear what we are saying, but they also open to for what are saying to land in their consciousness, for it to register. So now regarding coming to your specific point on encourage and engage, in general, we have to open the door for Krishna consciousness to everyone. And we would like them to take up the full process of Krishna consciousness. But if they are not ready to take up, what do we do at that time? If you're not ready to take up, bang the door in your face, get out. No, that's not required. If you can't, it's okay. We will have people at different levels of connection and commitment. So if you say, this is Krishna, and around Krishna there can be many different circles. There can be circles of different, in the material world also, you could say in Krishna conscious movement also. There could be people who are initiated and dedicated devotees. There are people who are aspiring for initiation. There are people who are open to come sometimes when there are special guests who come. There are people who come for festivals. I'm reconnected with some of my school friends. And two of my friends, I regularly go to ISKCON. They are this American people. Wonderful, how regular? Thank you very much. That is their level of regularity. So, there will be people at different levels of connection. Now, we would like to encourage everyone to come closer and closer towards the innermost level of connection. So, but if they are not ready, we don't have to push them. We always offer them the step up. But it's like, the Prabhupada also said, we are pushing Sampradaya. So my spiritual master pushed me, I pushed you, and you should push others. At the same time, Prabhupada also said that when we are pushing people, we have to see what is the effect of the pushing. Is the pushing leading them to come closer to Krishna, or is the pushing them to go away from Krishna? If the second is happening, then maybe we should not push it.
Sure. Thank you very much.
When we meet different people with different faiths, there is this incentivization, right? People find that they say that they practice bhakti, but because of incentivization, they don't want to come to our Krishna consciousness. So how do we handle these people of faith, how to reach together? That is first point of the question. Second point is those who have come to Krishna consciousness.
Okay, let's take one at a time. When you say incentivization, what exactly can you clarify?
Incentivization means what I'm praying today, I got what I want. I asked, so they got the incentive. So there is no need to go to Krishna consciousness, sacrifice army and garlic, all that basically. So their faith is working for them, right? So that's,
So न बुद्धिवेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानं कर्मसंज्ञानं जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाजः. Krishna says that don't disturb the minds of people who are attached. So basically, we may be here and somebody is here. So that they are much lower level. Krishna says two character points over here. Like we are maybe we are wise, vidwan, and we are well engaged. We are connected. We are detached and connected to Krishna. When somebody is ignorant and attached. This is in terms of mana and buddhi. This is the mind, they are attached. This is intelligence, they are ignorant. So now we may try to encourage them to come all the way to here. It's like taking a high jump. Now, some people may be ready to take a high jump. Some people you try to get them to high jump, they go down. So sometimes our attempts to push people, it pushes them up. Then can we create some intelligent steps for them? So a lot of devotees are moving toward that direction as our movement is growing in India. So we are working with many other groups of people so that we can reach to a larger number. So, for example, the Kumbh Mela, we distribute lots of food, and we work with various business people, and they sponsor it. And now, is it that everybody who will take prasad is going to become a devotee over there? No, the people of Arun are pious, and they are getting some Gyatsu people, and that is also good. So now, can we provide incentives like say others are getting in their particular paths? It depends on what our goal is. Bhakti is a very multifaceted process. Different devotees will feel inspired to do different things. And Prabhupada encourages such individuality. So each one of us, what do we feel inspired to do for Krishna? We do that. We take that up and do that. So some devotees felt inspired that in India, many of the tribals are getting converted. So we should go there and we should do outreach there. Now, tribal care is a huge initiative in India. Lots of people are being reached there. So similarly, there are people who are maybe illiterate, and they go to schools, and in that particular school, Charan or particular religious organization, people get either converted or attracted to it. So now, can we do something like that? Well, what is going to happen is Prabhupada created the ISKCON for a particular set of purposes, human purposes. However, around ISKCON, so there is ISKCON, around ISKCON there can be many sister concerns. Like Prabhupada created BBD, Prabhupada created Food for Life. The Food for Life is ISKCON, but the same time is not ISKCON. So like that, the devotees themselves may feel inspired to do certain things. And they feel inspired, that's wonderful. Now, one thing Prabhupada was clear is that we should not take the resources of ISKCON. Prabhupada had a particular purpose for ISKCON, that is spreading Krishna consciousness. It means focusing on getting people to start practicing bhakti seriously and rising towards Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada didn't want those resources get diverted to other things. But that does not mean that Prabhupada didn't want anything else to happen. So many of you know Prabhupada started a political party in America. He called it In God We Trust. And as one devotee, Prabhupada said, you can become the next president of America. So Prabhupada was very enthusiastic. And then after some time, Balwant Prabhu came to Prabhupada, are you no longer enthusiastic about the party? The Prabhupada came to know about the sheer amount of expense involved in campaigning for any post in America. But in general, in democracy, but in that, especially in America, they have the tax and everything is complicated. So, and then Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada basically told him, I'm very enthusiastic, but don't ask me for any money. So Prabhupada's point was that if devotees are distributing books, if devotees are getting some bhakti, that will be used for further printing books, for building temples, for direct Krishna consciousness. If someone is inspired to enter into politics, then they don't stop for it. But then, that will be like broader forums around Krishna consciousness that will rise. So can we incentivize something like this? Yes, so for example, in Mumbai we have a hospital. So there, try to offer care at an economical level. And people can come to the hospital for treatment. And they will get introduced to bhakti, many of them start practicing bhakti. So like that, there are many initiatives that different people may start. And now, you are talking specifically about their praying and their prayers getting fulfilled. Yes, so if they are that level, we shouldn't see that they are outside the plan of Krishna. Krishna is in the hearts of everyone. If somebody is worshipping the goddess or somebody is worshipping, following some other religion, Krishna is in everyone's heart. And Krishna is Brahman, Sarva Bhutani Yantraruhani. So Krishna is guiding them. Sometimes they will be ready to come to a further step forward. Sometimes they may not be ready. We know the levels of fear, desire, duty, and love. We cannot get everyone to come to the level of love immediately. Any other questions or feelings?
Yeah. The second part is, say, if sometimes within the movement, people get used to this incentivization because of managerial positions, administration, anything, and once that stops, they kind of leave or maybe call in person, right? So how do we, try to understand these kind of people better?
Okay, so that's again a very, I can answer principle, but in specifics, each person's case has to be handled by understanding that person. Generally, we all have cognitive biases. That means the people whom we don't like, for their behavior, we'll come up with a negative explanation. People who we like, for their behavior, will come with a positive explanation. So, if somebody eats a lot of food, and maybe we had enough food for 5 people, but this person takes food of 2.5 people. If we like that person, we say, must be very hungry. Maybe they didn't know that we had enough food. We didn't have so much food. If we don't like that person, what a glutton. No sense control. So what may happen is that, now even when something like this happens, say some devotee had some position, and then for some reason that position was taken away, and then that devotee used Krishna consciousness. So now, what is it simply because they had an ego and they were there only for the position? That's one possibility. But it's also possible that that they just felt devalued. They felt that whatever I'm doing is not valued over here. And why should I stay over here? So we don't really know what is going on in that person's life. So ideally speaking, from the individual's perspective, the individual should be trying to serve Krishna only for Krishna's creation. And whatever happens, Krishna is here. Whether I have some big service or a small service, I am here to serve you. At the same time, from the community's perspective, from the woman's perspective, we need to recognize that people are not just souls. Along with the soul, there is a mind, there is a body. And we need to take care of the full person. So now, sometimes it's just your ego. But then, you cannot discuss it like that. Why does Mahaprabhu say, Amanina, Manadena? Why Manadena? Because that's commission. You should be respecting everyone. I was in one place in Australia, and the leader, he read some of the books of my classes, so he went to the Bible. So, but then some of the devotees will come and say, he chastises us publicly. And we feel very hurt by that. And I talked with him, tried to be as gentle. He said, people are not scared of me. He said, I don't like to chastise anyone. He was a young devotee, not like a community temple, like a small community where I was the leader. He said, I don't like to chastise anyone. That is my service. I said, what do you mean? He said, if I don't chastise anyone, that is the way he had been trained. He had been trained by a teacher who chastised him not. He said, if I don't chastise others, how will they become humble? So I told him, there's a difference between humility and humiliation. So, humility is like fasting. Humiliation is like starving. So fasting is voluntarily done. Starving is forcibly imposed. So can humiliation lead to humility? Possible, but it's very rare. It's like you force a person to starve and they will learn to fast because of that. It doesn't happen like that, generally speaking. So humility cannot be externally imposed. Humility is only chosen. So our culture should be such that we should always be respectful. So if some devotee was doing a particular service and then that devotee, for whatever reason, is not going to do that service, then that has to be very respectfully and gracefully he has done, and in such a way that I feel it's like we may dismiss something as ego, but there is a basic human need for appreciation. That is not ego. It is just that what I am doing is of some value, and it is value. So that is something which we all have within us, and that needs to be addressed. Most people, when they come to a spiritual group, they want a sense of community, they want a sense of belonging, acceptance, and that means that what I do is of some value. It matters. So I will go in that direction that devotees need to be valued and recognized. So there's a very big difference between appreciation and glorification. The two sound very similar. So if say you are after your class, after the class you say, "Oh, this is very good class." That is appreciation. But if I say, "Okay, please take this mic and tell everyone it was a very good class." So what is it? And when you want everyone else to know, then that is seeking glorification. In the devotee community, we should not be seeking glorification. Now, of course, as a service, we may also glorify devotees publicly. But appreciation is at a one-to-one level. That's what we need. We all need appreciation for feeling encouraged and continuing in our service.
Thank you so much for extending your mercy from all the way here and being your association. We are very grateful for that. And thank you for arranging this session, question and answer, so you can address the need. My question here is for